the kick-ass switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you are watching another episode of Every Which Way. This time featuring Tess Whitehurst, the author of so many books. You might own a copy of Magical Housekeeping, Magical Fashionista, any number of books by this truly lovely author and person. She's online now doing videos and leading a community called the Good Vibe Tribe. So perfectly named because she is good vibes. I just got done talking to her, doing this interview, and I'm feeling it. I find it hard to believe that you could bump into Tess on the street or at a festival or like I did here on the internet and not walk away feeling the good vibes. She is so much fun to talk to, and I think you are absolutely going to love this. So grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back, and enjoy. Here's Tess. Hi, Tess. Welcome to Hey.
Hi, Joanna. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. You know, I just was binge watching / listening to your videos while I was getting all dolled up to do our interview. And you remind me so much of a brunette, witchy Leslie Mann. Do you know who she is?
Leslie Mann. It rings a bell, but I'm not I don't know.
How would I tell you who she is? She's been in so many cute, like, romantic comedies. She was This Is 40. She was in that.
Oh my gosh, no, I know exactly who she is. She's Judd Apatow's wife.
Yes.
Yeah, she's super cute.
She's so lovable. She's so lovable.
And she's so hilarious. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I think she really has like just a really fun spirit about her. And I think you have that too, which makes you different in the witchy community. You have this very light, bubbly vibe to you.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just who I am. I don't feel like I've been criticized for it or anything. I just feel like, I mean, a lot of times people say that have fairy energy, which I definitely feel really aligns with the fairy realm. So maybe that's it. But I mean, I just see magic I see spirituality, I see magic, I see life as being something joyful and something to approach with lightness and fun, because for so many reasons. I mean, from the perspective of when we really think about past lives, like if many witches believe in past lives and reincarnation, and when we really think about that, so much time, so many lives. I mean, this life that we're in now, it's like such a tiny little piece of the eternal, infinite selves that we are. And so to approach that with, I mean, and then like from that perspective too, it's like you can see, I think of everyone as being an aspect of divinity. So we're all, facets of the one divine. So when you think about the eternal perspective of this energy that we are, it's playful and dancing and swirling and tumbling. So to me, it feels like a natural fit with magic to have a lightness and a fun 2-year vibe,
I definitely believe in that we're all facets of like this great big mysterious diamond, like this creative force that
Yeah.
You said something about you were talking to your boyfriend, which is a really interesting video. I recommend people go scroll through your videos to get to that one because I really loved it. You were just talking about being a very spiritual person and he's not.
Yeah.
You've been together, I want to say, for 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something about everything is magic or yes, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that, we have this, I mean, there's definitely the appearance of mundane, right? There's the appearance that we're standing in line at the bank or, we're balancing our checkbook or have to go to the DMV or whatever. But the real truth is that everything is magical. Everything is mysterious. It's at every single moment, there's a total mystery, a total opportunity to appreciate whatever is going on with this life experience. And thinking of infinity, thinking of the cosmos, thinking of a seed sprouting. I mean, there's so many miraculous things, like eating a piece of fruit and thinking about all of the history and all of the sun and the water and the earth and the people who tended it. I mean, it's like, that's what's really going on here, is magic, pure magic.
And how that piece of fruit becomes a part of you and it changes you. Every food is, you just said the magic word, food. Like, I feel like people overlook that as one of the most powerful forms of magic, because if magic is creating change and conformity with your will,
Mm-hmm.
banana and eat it and presto, change.
Totally. Yeah, that life force energy. I so agree.
Yeah, it alters your mood and your health and your energy levels, the choices you make that way.
And I also believe that we're getting information from the earth when we eat, that it's encoded in our food. And so to choose food consciously, to choose organic and local whenever we can, we're actually aligning with the earth around us.
Yeah, you know, I didn't mean to ask you this, but I do have a question that just like popped up for me. You're a feng shui consultant. You write feng shui. I have a couple of your feng shui books. I think you have like 3, maybe more.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that are into space clearing and decluttering, they get into doing that physically as well. They eat special diets or they get into detoxing. Is that something that's a part of your life and your practice, or not so much?
Yeah, you know, I have had an interesting relationship with food, like basically every single person in our culture. You know, it's an interesting journey. And I have done detoxes and things like that. And right now where I am is just pure clean eating. Just, I mean, I'm vegan and eating fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, nuts. Just clean is what, to me, it's like I don't feel like I need to do a detox when I'm eating that way regularly. It's like a constant detox. And then it feels more balanced to me too. Although, I mean, if at some point I felt like I got out of balance, then a really responsible detox might be something that I would do. But yeah, definitely energy. It's like on the energetic realm for my energy field, for my home, clearing that, and then definitely on the physical level too. And then cleaning. I consider cleaning the house also a form of energy clearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So you're a vegan. Is that part of your spiritual, is that a spiritual decision, or is that just health, or you just gravitated toward that?
I would say it's all of those. I mean, it started in 2005 when I got a cat for the first time, a kitten, and I just like tuned into him so much that when I thought about eating animals or using animals for food, it just didn't feel like something I wanted to do. And now, definitely it feels healthy, very healthy to me.
Well, this is totally jumping shark all of a sudden. Sorry, but
no, let's just talk.
All right, let's just talk. Well, you said 5. I was wondering, when did you start making videos? Because I'm just aware, I think last year is when I was like, oh, Tess Whitehurst is making videos now. That's interesting, because I know you as an author. Is this a new thing, newish thing?
It's newish, yeah. It was in January, I decided that I wanted to make at least one video a week, every week. So that's when it really started. I mean, I have made videos here and there, but I wanted to make it like more regular starting in January of this year.
The theme for my business, for everything I'm doing this month, is cyber witches. So I was just really curious about that. Like, why did you do that? Because you have this career. You're an author that many of us know and love, and you speak at events and things like that. So why the internet? Like, why did you
interesting. Well, I for some time have really wanted to have a regular presence like that, and also to do online classes and workshops. And it just feels, to me, it feels like the way things are going right now in general, having videos, regular videos, it feels like a great way to connect with the people who read my books and then the people who don't know about my books. And just, it feels to me also really creatively satisfying to connect it. It's like a really personal way to connect.
It definitely is. And it kind of circles me back to what we were talking about. You know, you're saying past lives and why, you know, you think this life should be joyful and magical. We live, especially if you want to consider maybe we've had all of these past lives, in the most privileged time in recorded history. Maybe there was some Atlantean, you know, blissful culture at some point.
Yeah.
But in terms of our records and what we know, like where we are right now is so magical, and it's such a privilege. It's easy to stay in a state of gratitude when you tap into that and recognize that. And I feel like the internet, there was so much fear about it separating us, but it's actually bringing us together in a really interesting way.
Oh my gosh, I so agree. Being able to see people who, I mean, really understand people's thoughts and connect with unique, different factions of people. I mean, it's so different and than it used to be, and it's so validating, and it can be so validating and just satisfying to realize, like, oh, I'm not the only person who thinks that, or I'm not the only person who likes that. Yeah, it's amazing. And then, yeah, just having access to information and how to do things. I was just thinking about, did I even have a dream about it last night? I think I did, about how really this is a kind of a creative renaissance right now for our whole country. It's like Pinterest, people feel emboldened to try things and create things, and Etsy, you know, it's like, I remember when I was in elementary school, it was like, or high school, that creativity, so many people were so down on their creativity all the time. I mean, I don't know if it's still like that, but it seems like the internet has really helped people to feel more comfortable creating things.
For sure. For sure. Instagram, I noticed. All of a sudden, everybody's a photographer.
Yeah.
I mean that as a compliment.
Totally.
You watch the evolution of the pictures people take, and you see them learning lighting and composition, and it's fascinating.
I know, and anyone can be a performer. People's voices can be heard. It's beautiful. I know. I really, when there's all this talk about you know, oh, what a shame everyone's always on their phones. Like, I get that. I like to turn off my phone sometimes too, but to shun the internet. I mean, when I was a kid, when we were kids, it was the TV. You know, it was like, oh, everyone's always watching TV. And it's like, you can focus on those challenging aspects that people feel disconnected because they're always on their phone. But in another way, yeah, people are inspired and people have a voice, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I always feel too that people that gravitate toward magic are naturally very creative, because I think that witchcraft, magic, even where the New Age community has gone to with the vision boarding and law of attraction and all of the different creative processes that people use now, it's like the art of spirituality to me. And I think that's why too so many witches we're gathering online.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a form of creativity, and I think also it's a really creative spiritual path, because we are encouraged to create our own path and to find the things that inspire us. I mean, that's why I think so many of us are drawn to the magical spiritual path, because it is, where do you find that juice? Where do you feel connected? And what's the difference between that and art? It's definitely art. Art is spirituality and spirituality is art. I so agree.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that's so great is that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have attended your workshops or seen you at different festivals and things like that, but I hadn't. I just knew, you know, when I went to the witchy section in bookshops, I would often see this name, you know, Tess Whitehurst. And, but now I see your face move, I hear your voice. I'm telling you, you look like, or you sound like, there's a spirit thing. I don't know if it's a look thing or a sound thing. It's a combination, but like Leslie Mann. And it's like, whoa, all of a sudden you're this moving, breathing entity. Like, I get it, you know, that you start getting a fuller sense of the person.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So is that what, are you experiencing all of this now with this good vibe tribe that you've formed, where people can actually interact with you more on the internet? Or tell us what the good vibe tribe is first before
Okay. It's this super fun thing. It's a dream come true for me. It's something that I founded in January with my friend Brandy Palachek at internetgal.com. And it's a place for magical people to explore their gifts and to spiral more deeply into their power. And what we've got is online workshops. So I add a new one every month. So now we have 5, and I'm getting ready to shoot the 6th one tomorrow. And those are archived. And then Tuesday nights we have web chats. So that's a really fun way to connect, because it's me talking about a certain topic, and then people can send in their questions, or they can be, I can actually hear them ask the questions. And so we're just chatting. It's like we're meeting and chatting, and we come into a spiritual circle and we set intentions. So it's a spiritual group that's online. And then we have places where people can chat, and we have a private Facebook group. So it's been a beautiful thing to see people connecting and making friends and having a place to ask questions. And that's basically the Good Vibe Tribe. We have also new affirmations every Sunday, and then a question of the week. So like a question to help inspire people's spiritual paths on Wednesday. It's great. It's an online magical community, basically.
When you say shoots, you're doing videos for these workshops that you're...
Oh yeah, so the workshops are, they're basically like around 10-minute lessons. There's 6 lessons for each workshop, and then each lesson has a PDF kind of handout with an assignment. So you watch the video, you do the assignment, and then you come back whenever you're ready for the next lesson. It's totally self-guided.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so cool.
It's fun. Yeah, but people can ask questions still at the forum or the Facebook page or at the web chats.
And then they have access to the archives.
Yes.
Oh, that's so... How do people sign up for that if they want to?
If you go to my website, which is tesswhitehurst.com, there's a banner at the top that says Good Vibe Tribe. So you can click on that, and then you'll learn more about it and see the different membership options.
Mm-hmm. So since it's called the Good Vibe Tribe, I'm guessing this is more than just for witches. This is for the New Age community, maybe more as a whole. Is that?
Yeah, it's my intention, because the way that I see my spirituality and the type of spirituality that I teach, it is totally creative. And so it is what inspires you personally. So I will give you a framework, and I'll give you ideas, and they will involve ritual, and they will involve creating your reality based on your beliefs and thoughts and expectations. And then other than that, if you feel inspired by a certain pantheon, a certain spirituality, maybe a number of them that you swirl together, to me, that's where your power is to find that on your own. And maybe it's a really traditional path, and maybe it's not. So yeah, there are people of a number of spiritual paths in the Good Vibe Tribe.
I relate to that. I have one foot in the law of attraction and one foot in witchcraft, which has been really interesting because it brings those 2 different tribes together in an interesting way. I'm very fascinated by the way the law of attraction and magic, like the intersection, because they have a lot in common.
Yeah, and they have a lot to teach each other. A little over a year ago, I was coming back from PantheaCon, and I was flying to the Midwest because I was living in Missouri at the time. And I actually was seated next to Selena Fox. I had never met her before. And it was like, oh my gosh, Selena Fox is sitting right next to me. So we made friends, and we were talking, and I was telling her that I like both New Age and the pagan path. And she said, back in the 70s, there wasn't a difference. They were the same. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah, it's like they've diverged, but they originated as the same kind of groups.
Very cool. I was thinking too, when we were talking about your boyfriend, you said something about his religion being science in a way, or maybe even he said it just because he doesn't have a religion. That's the closest thing he has. But what's fascinating is the way I believe science and magic are getting closer and closer together. I think that...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Einstein really kicked that off. And then the quantum physics is like, at first that was seen as very woo-woo and taboo.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, okay, like everything is energy, nothing is real. Like, what is real?
Totally. And I mean, even yoga used to be crazy. And now it's like, no, really, yoga there are some benefits that we can measure, But yeah, have you read Science and the Akashic Field by Erwin Laszlo?
No, but that sounds like something I would enjoy.
I recommend it. That one, to me, that one blew my mind, because he talks about the Akashic Field. He's a scientific philosopher, and he talks about the Akashic Field as being an actual scientific thing that hasn't been measured yet, but that there's a lot of evidence that it's an actual thing that underlies and defines everything in existence. It's fascinating.
Okay, so this could be a 10-hour conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to jump on that train because I know like a million thoughts just popped into my head. Look up the book. But yeah, I'm very much, that's interesting. I think that whole blending, like the New Age and the witchcraft and the science and the magic, it's like we're in a global village now. And we're all kind of influencing each other. I think cultural appropriation has become kind of an issue because, like, it's happening. We're like influencing and mixing with each other, and is it okay? And, people get very protective. I think it's unstoppable, in my opinion. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, although I love rich cultures, and I do understand the need to preserve that. But it's interesting that we're just sort of becoming this global melting pot in a way.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And I am extremely confused about the whole uproar about cultural appropriation. Personally, I mean, why would we not merge into one culture? This is what has happened since forever. Our language is a mishmash. Our diets are a mishmash. So for us to go, oh, now's the time to stop, like we can't. And if you're inspired by a certain deity or a certain tradition, there's no reason why you can't approach that in a really sacred way and make it your own. And that's what artists always do. It's what everyone always does. So this whole, it feels very, very confusing to me why this would be such a thing that people would be upset about. I mean, I totally get now if it's something like the Cleveland Indians, or some kind of way that someone's culture is not being respected or is being ridiculed. Now that I get as being something to get upset about, but someone lighting a candle to Ganesh who isn't Hindu, I am really confused about why that would be something to be angry with.
Yeah, I think it's fear. I think it's fear that it's going to go away. I want to go to the Ukraine and eat Ukrainian food and see the Ukrainian culture. I don't know why Ukraine just popped in. I just think, I think, and then people that really love their cultures, I just think it's a fear that maybe, how many generations before it's gone. So, but I guess both can be true. Both can be true.
Yeah, I guess it's hard. I guess as a Californian, as someone in the United States too, it's like we are such a mishmash that it's really confusing. Like, how are we going to separate that out? I don't understand that.
Yeah, we're probably not.
Yeah.
So kind of keeping with the cyber witch thing. Well, first of all, do you call yourself a witch?
Yeah, I consider myself a witch in the way that, I have brown eyes and brown hair. Like, that's just kind of, I can see that the definition of witch would describe me, someone who believes that her thoughts and beliefs and expectations create her reality and performs rituals and stuff like that. I do, I guess I do sometimes I feel like there's a challenge with labels of saying, this is what I am and this is who I am, based on this label. I think it can be confusing because it can be separating, divisive. If I were to tell someone who doesn't know about witchcraft, oh, I'm a witch, then immediately it's like I maybe won't have the opportunity for them to even learn what that means to me. So yeah, I don't actually call myself a witch, but if you ask me if I am a witch, I will say yes.
And again, I recommend people go, I'll just link to it. I've mentioned it enough times. That video with your boyfriend, I think, is really illuminating about that, because it's not just about your partner. It's just about your family members, your friends, your coworkers. You know, he talked about being just thinking maybe you had a screw loose, you know. I'm like, we've been together 17 years. So, I mean, apparently, you know, he's stuck around for a reason.
Yeah. And, you know, I also feel like that the real truth is that whether you're a witch or you're a Christian or you're whatever you are, an atheist, we're all really all the same. I mean, deep down, there's much more about us that is the same than is different, and we're all divine and we're all reflections of each other. So to come from that, I feel like it helps to not be overly attached to labels when you want to dwell in that place, because I find that when I have that expectation and I approach people with that knowing, then it's much more likely that they'll be accepting of my spiritual path, because they can sense already that I'm accepting of them, and that my subtext is I see you as my equal and someone very similar to me deep down. Does that make sense?
It really does. And it again circles back to the beginning when you were saying, well, I haven't really gotten any heat for being, you know, light. And I think because you're authentic and you're genuine and open, and you're not coming from a place of fear. I just think fear is very attractive. Like attracts like, fear attracts fear. And you don't seem to have that. So you're not drawing those experiences into your life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so because I guess it didn't occur to me that I would get any kind of flack for it. That's why I was kind of confused about it. But I mean, I don't know if you saw my video about growing up in a funeral chapel that I did.
Oh my gosh, thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, yeah.
I did see it, and I wanted to ask you about that, and I was going to forget, so thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so that actually adds to my lightness, because like I talk about in that video is when you have that perspective from a young child, it's like it was a small town funeral home. And so, you know, we very often would be people we knew or people who were related to people we knew like every week. And so, I learned to have a light view. I mean, definitely a sacred view. Life is so sacred and love is so sacred. And at the same time, it's like a paradox that from that place, there is a lightness. That how can you feel like you should be really serious and dark when life is so fleeting and every moment is so precious? And, you know, also the bit about having a sense of humor and laughing, because everything is so mysterious that there really isn't anything we can be certain of, so we might as well laugh.
Mm. So you grew up in a funeral home?
Well, I mean,
it's in your family.
It's in the family. We didn't live at it, but my dad did. When my dad was a kid, their house was actually at the funeral chapel, but then they built another one in the 70s. So when I was born, I hung out there a lot. You know, my dad would take me and my brother with him to work, and we would play in the back while he was working, embalming or whatever. So I did spend a lot of time at the funeral chapel.
Did you ever have any interesting spiritual experiences when you were there?
You know, other family members of mine have actually encountered ghosts. I always feel a beautiful spiritual, I always have beautiful spiritual experiences, but they're not like a ghost story. They're more just whenever I go to the funeral chapel, I feel this beautiful sense of connection, because it is a place where people's transitions are honored, and people are being honored who have just recently transitioned. So it's a doorway between the worlds, and it's like you go to the funeral chapel, even outside. My dad has a garden there, so when I go visit, there's a garden out in the front with all kinds of vegetables, and we go pick vegetables, and it's out in the country, and it's just the way the light is, and it's so inspiring. It always reminds me of enjoying life and savoring each moment.
Yeah, I can see too why you might grow up to be a witch who loves ritual and nature. Our culture has very few rituals.
Yeah.
We have birthday parties. We have weddings and we have funerals, you know, and depending on the family, we have graduations and things like that. But we don't have many rituals to help us transition.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about the pagan community is just they ritualize everything, but it really helps move you through life and be present to the now in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be aware of what's really going on here, which is just sacred, precious, amazing, glorious. You know, just each moment is just amazing. So I feel like that's ritual, and that's so interesting that you say that, because really funerals, what mainstream ritual that we have is more, it brings us into the sacred more, to gaze past the veil and just appreciate someone's life. I mean, you have no choice but to feel the profound depth of that.
Yeah, and people need that. They need that.
Yeah.
They need that moment to carry on, which is interesting. Yeah. And then I think just in small ways, life is just filled with small deaths, the loss of a relationship, the end of the end of a job, the end of a grade at school, you know, just all these little deaths. So I think the way you grew up is very kind of laid a weird foundation. The rituals maybe that you do now in a way.
Yeah, and even my obsession with clutter clearing is that releasing, is that when you release, and you can release when you no longer are hanging on, then it opens up your energy field to let the present moment and all of the blessings flow through. Because that's one of the ways that I see spirituality and magic too. It's like you can do rituals and that's great, but I think the real power, I mean, that's not true. The rituals are power, but part of the power is to be really conscious of you as the spiritual being and your life as a momentum, and to release the things, the places where you're stuck, the limiting beliefs, the clutter in the physical world, and let the divine flow through. Then when you do a ritual, then it's really more effective because you have all of that power flowing through.
You're so fun to talk to.
So are you.
Is that where you started with the writing? Was it feng shui? Was it space clearing?
Yeah, my first book is Magical Housekeeping. It came out in 2010, and that, when I sat down to write, that's the book that came out. I wrote it pretty quickly.
That was 2010? Oh my gosh, I feel like you've been around so much longer than that, because that's a book that a lot of people love. Do you have a favorite book?
Whichever book I'm writing or whichever book just came out is usually always, I'm like, this is my best book ever.
Are you in the process right now of writing something?
Yeah, I actually am writing something now. Well, I'm getting ready to edit The Magic of Trees, which comes out in January. And then I am working on a book right now, but it's kind of slower than my other books have been because I'm doing so many other things at this exact moment. But I'm working on one.
Has that been a challenge now with the Good Vibe Tribe? Do you find all of a sudden you're juggling like these two things?
Well, in a way, I mean, it's like I do kind of think, I would like to have all of the time I used to have to work on my books. But in another way, this is a creative endeavor that I've wanted to do for a long time. So, no, I mean, it's just another way to express what I want to express.
Cool. Well, I hope people go check that out. I always end these interviews by asking the same question, and you've already given us so many good answers to this, but I'm going to make you come up with another. So it doesn't have to be the ultimate, just whatever comes to your mind first is, what is one tip for creating the kick-ass life of your dreams?
Oh, right. Well, I've already said clutter clearing, but I think I'm going to say it again anyway. because I can't emphasize enough that I really believe that clutter clearing is square one, and that's in all areas. So it's clearing clutter out of your diet, like we're talking about, clearing limiting beliefs. I just published a meditation about this on YouTube today. Clearing limiting beliefs, clearing old grudges that we're holding, forgiving, just releasing anything that doesn't serve us in the physical or non-physical worlds. And this is an ongoing practice. So it's not like an event, like, oh, I cleared clutter that one time and now I'm done. It's like a constant thing to be looking, do I still feel great in this outfit? Do I still want to eat this, whatever this is? Is this still nourishing me? To always be aware of releasing the things that no longer serve. And then one day you might realize, I've been operating on this belief that I don't deserve good, and I do, and now I discovered it, and now I can release it. And so to be I think our work as magical people, any kind of magical person or metaphysician, is to be constantly doing that, transmuting, transforming, releasing that which no longer serves.
Perfect. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, much love. Peace.
You too.